Hey everybody out there, it's Adri with Raising Batman. So I know I just made a video about what to do with your kids in summertime, as far as like sports and maybe some splash pads and things like that, indoor water parks you can do. But I wanted to make another one about more academic wise, what you can do during the summer. Some things you can do to possibly help regression, when they have a break from school. I know it's always been really, really hard for Gage, but he's gotten better with it over the years. And I'm at his ABA right now, waiting for him to get out, and they have some packets, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to go over what's in these and what I do with him every summer. And it has helped a lot. So right off the bat, one thing that I always do, or I usually do, is I have a calendar. You can go buy just a little cheapo calendar, because you're going to mark all over it anyway, and put on there, mark all the days where there's not going to be any school. You can write no school. You can get a little picture of a bus with a circle and a line through it. Anything, a little school building, anything they might associate with that. You can go to Google and type in school clip art or school SVG, anything like that, and print it out. Velcro it or just write it on your calendar, whatever you want to do, and go through it every day and mark it out with them. So you have the whole calendar filled up until the beginning of school. And at the end of the day, every day with them, you go over there, whether it's hand over hand or just you do it for them or whatever, but you're showing them no school tomorrow. Today is this day, tomorrow is the next day. And then you mark out the day when you're done with it. So you're counting down the days of when they get to go back to school. So with Gage, he's very, very visual. He loves his visual schedule, things like that. And he kind of really needs that and clings to it when his schedule is thrown off. So things like breaks from school, anything like that. So that is something that has helped me a lot, and I know it helps a lot of other people too. So that way they can just see that, okay, I am eventually going to get to go back to school. It's just, when. And like I said, you can count down the days and mark them off. So let's see. There's 2 packets here, and one of them is preventing academic regression, and then kind of tips and strategies for summer as far as like behaviors and stuff like that go. So the academic regression, I'm going to post pictures of both of these packets in the comments of the video as well, so you guys can have like a hard copy yourself. But it says, have your child remain on a schedule similar to what they do at school. It's important to include fun and academics every day. Program time each to work on skills your child learned throughout the school year. So all their goals for IEP and stuff like that, the last ARD meeting you have right before the end of school, you have all those goals. And you can be working on those at home too, ideally. Practice attending, writing, transitions, and interruptions often. So I know one thing, one of Gage's biggest goals too is sitting and attending and getting them ready for school and things like that. We did that a lot working on it when he went into kindergarten. Is I would sit at the table with him and have the activities in a bucket, in each little drawer, bucket, shoebox, whatever you want to use, and label them A, B, C. Say there's 3 activities, or 1, 2, 3, however you want to do it. And I would have a timer of how long we're going to sit and attend and do these tasks. And it's a visual timer, so he knows, okay, I have this long, I have to sit here for this long. And the tasks we would do, say like in one bucket there's a puzzle, in the other bucket there is some handwriting stuff or blocks or just anything like that. Whatever is at their level, whatever you feel like you can do with them. And you have a piece of paper that has, here's A, here's B, here's C, and here's to do, and here's done. So you can either check mark it off when you're done, or you can have the little piece of paper on top of it and have them move it over to the done column. So we do this activity, and then we check off that we're done. We clean it up, we check off they're done. You go to the next activity, and you show them on that piece of paper, okay, now it's time to do B or 2 or whatever, and you have them go over and get it. That way they are getting a little bit of movement. They're not like just having to sit there and sit still the whole time. Have them get up and go get the activity and bring it back to you. And if your kid is smaller and they're not used to doing anything like this, it's going to be a lot of hand over hand and doing it with them and things like that. But they will eventually get the routine of it. And it says use visual supports like token boards, visual schedules first, then schedules, timers. So, we're going to do this first and then this. You can have just a piece of paper that says first and then put whatever picture you want there. And then, so if we do this first, then you get to play with sand, or then you get bubbles, or whatever reward that they like. Gage loves all the sensory stuff, so water or things like that. And token boards, which is basically, say you give them 5 tokens, so you have 5 blank spaces, and then at the very end, a prize that they want, like I said, whether it's sand or Play-Doh or whatever. So we do these activities, and when I'm done with these activities, this is what I get. So it's teaching sitting and attending. It's teaching, stuff like teachers are going to expect them to do in school. They want you to do your work. You got to do your work, and then we can go do recess or, whatever. So it's kind of the same thing. Make academics fun. Have them help you prepare a simple meal, which Gage also loves to do. He loves to help cook. Do simple science experiments. Use shaving cream to have the child trace letters on a flat surface. That's a lot of fun. That's very sensory, smells, everything. You can also work on academics outside of the home, teaching them about animals at the zoo, plants at the arboretum, science in a children's museum. That's great and all if your child isn't a huge runner and you can handle them. But like me, I have 2 kids, and Gage still kind of runs from me every now and again, and it's hard to do it by myself. So, it just depends on what you can do. And on here, there is free academic printables for summer. So there's like about 6 websites you can go to and print out stuff for free. Another thing that I did as well is you can go to Mardell's. It's a teacher store. There's teacher stores online, things like that. They have little booklets, what preschools should be working on, kindergartners should be working on, and on up. They have charts, like alphabet charts, number charts, days of the week, all kinds of stuff like that. And I got that for Gage, just to have like a visual. They have flashcards. Like I said, it's a teacher store, so they have a ton of stuff there. Lots of really good stuff, and it's cheap, most of it. Like the charts and stuff that I would get were like maybe like $1 or $2. Or they have like a sale on it for like 2 for $1 or something like that. So I had to put him like higher up in his room so he wouldn't tear him up. Or like, when we would do reading at bedtime, I would bust out those charts and do it then, and then I would put it away. So that way they wouldn't get torn up, but yet we're going over it, we're doing it. So then it's like simple activities for home. You can make sensory slime. You can go to YouTube and look up how to make slime, how to make kinetic sand, how to make all that stuff. So that's really fun, something you can do together. It says make shapes and letters with Play-Doh, use shaving cream to trace letters, make edible sand. I ain't never tried that, so I don't know about that. He probably wouldn't be down for that anyway. Sight words, flashcards, memory matching games, they have all that stuff at Mardell's too. I tell you, I have another video. If you go back to YouTube and look through all my videos, there's one of Target. If you go to their dollar section, usually a couple months, like around summertime and maybe like a month before school starts, there is a ton of very, very good stuff in their dollar section that is stuff like this, like flashcards or like little bitty dry erase boards. Go watch that video. There is a ton of stuff you can get that's like $1 to $3 that is awesome and really good to work on during summer. And I think the rest of the stuff on here is, it's a little booklet of stuff you can work on. So some of these websites have like things like this printed on it. They printed out some stuff for us that you could try to work on. Yeah, that's all it is a bunch of stuff like that. And then at the back, it's 10 fun activities for children with autism. You can create a shredded flower bouquet. It tells you how to do that. Underwater I Spy alphabet. Painting with ice. I haven't tried that, but Gage loves ice, so maybe we can try that. Explore the senses with a sensory table. Practice paint chip storytelling. Sorry, I got my windows down because it's so hot out here. Play matching halves game. Sculpt clay snowflakes. If you look up on YouTube too, like sensory activities, things like that, there's a ton of stuff out there that you can do. And so there's that stuff. And then there's also, they have another little packet here, tips and strategies for summer. There's lots of stuff in here to like talk about like life skills and whatnot. Reviewing like setting limits. Have you recently worked on setting limits with your child? What challenges have you faced? Different strategies you can do. Like Gage has a really hard time accepting no. So there's like behavior stuff you can work on that would help for the school year, because they're not always going to get what they want when they want in school. Basically, it's saying, instead of just telling the child no, you give them choices. Like, no, we can't do this, but we can do this. Because a lot of times it's just pure frustration when you just tell them no and don't give them another option of something else they can do, something else you want them doing, or whatever. Tell them what's available. And then you don't want to reinforce the behavior just like any typical kid or whatever throwing a tantrum. You don't try to give them what they want in that time. You just kind of let them blow off their steam, ignore it, come back to it when they calm down. Which autistic kids can be a long time sometimes, but that's another reason why I've made Gage kind of a sensory room for all the sensory stuff we have in there, because when he's upset and starts throwing stuff and getting really, really frustrated, I just let him go to his room and calm down. Because anything I do in that situation, if I try to talk him down, if I try to, touch him or anything like that, it's just going to escalate it. So sometimes I just got to let him go off and do his thing. You can teach him to wait turns, teach waiting for an adult's attention, things like that. We practice that a lot at home, sharing. Especially with his little sister, because with any kid it's going to be hard teaching them how to share, but basically you can set timers for that as well. My turn, and you play with the toy, and either you can have them count or set a timer for just a few seconds in the beginning. Then okay, Gage's turn, and we'll hand it back to him, and then we can count or set the timer or whatever, and then okay, Mama's turn, and I go back and do that as well. And if they are able to verbalize it, then have them he'll say my turn, and he still says Gage's turn, things like that. Breaks from school, try to keep a set routine as much as you can. It's not going to be exactly like school, but whenever you're doing these other activities, academic activities, try to make it as structured as school is. It's like, of course, if you just let them have a whole lot of free time, like I know Gage thrives on a schedule and structure and things like that, and if he's just got something to where he's not being directed or doing something, he's just going absolutely nuts. So that's one thing you can do. And plus, especially, the last month or so before school starts, that's uber important to do that then as well, so they can kind of get back into getting ready for school. Of course, you can still work on self-help skills during the break, their academic skills, attending skills, things like that, because like I said, that was one real big thing with Gage, is just sitting and attending. So we practice that. Even if it's something fun at the table, if it's his sand or Play-Doh or something like that, at least he's sitting there at the table and attending and focusing on what he's doing. Even, like I said, make it fun. But you have that timer, and yay, you sat for 5 minutes, and just, increase the time to 10 seconds, start off if you want, and make a party out of it. Yeah, it just keeps talking about just establishing a routine as much as you can. Sorry, I'm trying to look at packets with one hand because my thing to hold my phone is not working. Yeah, it says keep a schedule, daily, weekly. Just a visual schedule helps a lot. You can make your own. You can get them off of Etsy. You can get them off of Amazon. They have all kinds of visual schedules. I'm wanting to transition. I have a huge dry erase board that I'm going to use and write stuff on because Gage can read words. He can recognize words now, and I could just, instead of having pictures of everything, I'm pretty confident we can switch over to me just writing out things on the board, and he knows what they say, and that's going to help him in the long run with his reading and stuff too. Yeah, a written schedule, changes in routine, let them know it's going to be completely different. You talk about it all the time. Different things you can do during the summer vacation, like playing with cousins, brothers, sisters, whatever, watching a movie for 15 minutes, go to the park for an hour, play alone, taking a bath. I mean, I know Gage, that's in summertime, he lives in a little mini pool in the backyard. He loves water, so we do that a lot during the summer because I can't really take him to a lot of parks or anything, especially when I have both kids and him running away. So and just keep a good routine with that. You can read it, and it goes into here addressing behavioral problems, showing how you can help them weight and self-stimming behaviors, like if they're kind of like harmful stimming behaviors. But it says things on here like, flapping hands, give them something to hold. If they're rocking back and forth and kind of hitting their head, you can provide sensory input like hugs, squeezes, things like that. I know Gage likes to wrestle a whole lot and crash pads and whatnot. So, I mean, if they're stimming a lot like that, yes, it's self-soothing. Yes, I always say let them do that for sure. But sometimes with Gage, he's wanting that sensory input. He's seeking it. So he's self-soothing because he wants something like that. And if that's something you can provide, like the at-home OT therapy, you can do it at home. And I have videos on that as well, like a sensory diet, things you can put in their room. He usually calms down a lot after that because he'll be really anxious and he's kind of going around and getting everything. He doesn't really rock a whole lot or flap his hands, but he's going from one thing to another all over the house, getting into stuff he's not supposed to. Just his mind is going 100 miles an hour. So that's when I will want to take the time and go do some sensory things with him because he's wanting that input. So same thing with all the other stimming behavior. It's good. It's self-soothing. You don't want to stop them from doing that and just tell them no. But if it's something that they're doing as seeking sensory input, then go ahead and do some OT with them. And it goes into tantrums and things like that, or it not like sensory meltdowns, but like being told no and stuff like that, or not being able to get to what they want to do right then. Yeah, this other stuff, it's kind of like, this is supposed to be like parent training stuff, so some of it's just like questions and things for you to fill out, so I probably won't post those pictures. But it says just finding a strong reinforcer that works as a distractor, like a preferred item. Things like push balls, or turn on the radio while you're in the car if they don't like being in their car seat and they like to dance to music, things like that. Read a story while in the line at the grocery store, things like that. So like problematic areas, if they're going to the grocery store, stuff like that they don't like, find a distractor. I used to always bring a lot of stuff in my purse or a little sensory bag with me whenever we went places that had like the little squishy things he likes to play with, little visual bottles, slime, things like that, to where he could distract himself in those situations. Reinforcers first, and then fading reinforcement. So you don't want to prompt them constantly. You want them to learn it on their own. And of course, make things fun that are not fun. Time to brush your teeth. A lot of kids have problems with that. Let's use bubble gum flavored toothpaste. Your favorite is kind of what it says, but most kids I know don't like the flavored toothpaste. They have flavorless, tasteless toothpaste on Amazon. You can get stuff like that. One thing that Elmo has a song about brushing your teeth. I would set his tablet up in there and play with that. play that while he's brushing his teeth so we can kind of dance, and he liked Elmo and stuff like that. That's another thing, like going back to the flashcards and the charts and things like that. If your kid does not respond to things like that, do it on the tablet. There's YouTube, and YouTube Kids has a ton of stuff of, ABC songs and colors and just all kinds of stuff. Busy Beavers was something that he really liked. All their songs with shapes and colors, and he learns more with things like that. But at the same time, you still want to do the charts and flashcards and things like that with them, because a lot of people think that their kid's not paying attention. They're listening. They might not be looking at you or engaging, especially if they're nonverbal, but they're listening. It's sinking in. So yeah, like I said, I will, I'm shedding over here. I will post that stuff with the websites and things you can go to. There is a really good Facebook page too called How to ABA. They have a ton of free stuff on there, lots of good tips and tricks for like sitting and attending and things like that, or just free printable stuff, activities. But yeah, so go check out the other video I have. I don't think I actually uploaded it on YouTube. I think it's just on the Facebook page of sports and special needs, things like that. You can put them in, and then here's the academic stuff. And I also still have a video that I've made and not posted yet about where to go, what to do after you get your diagnosis. It might be a little late this time of year to be posting that, because most people do get their diagnosis in the beginning of the school year when they're kind of transitioning into PPCD and getting evaluated and things like that, because a lot of people do go through the school district to get diagnosed. So, as always, if you have any questions, message me, let me know. The Raising Batman page, got the YouTube, got Instagram, Twitter, lots of ways to get a hold of me. So, and also I will soon be doing another giveaway in the support group, and there's lots of events and stuff in there as well, stuff to do summertime. A lot of people keep posting all the events and everything in there, because I don't find 100% of the stuff out there. Obviously, I do post a lot of things, but I don't really post the local events and stuff on the group. On the page. I do it more in the group. So everybody, thank you for sharing all of your information. Keep sharing, so everybody out there knows about it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.